Welcome to the Intern Whisperer Live, the show all about internships and how to survive them. This is Matt.
This is Abby.
This is Isabella. Our hashtag for tonight's show is hashtag video production. If you want to win a coloring page from the Intern Pursuit game, you should actually post that hashtag on Instagram, on Intern Pursuit's Instagram, or on Intern Pursuit's Facebook page. And you will get also an autographed box of crayons by our producer interns, Matt and Abby. All right, so tonight our show features a previous intern who's now a video producer with Pivot Business Consulting, Susan Sadler, a digital media student at Valencia College, and a reminder to our listeners, you can call us live on the air. The phone number is 407-582-2906. I'm going to just pee in the chair. I don't know if I should say that or not, but it's too late. If that phone rings tonight, it's like, oh my God, the phone
Well,
rang.
it shocked us the last time it happened.
It did.
It sure
was
did.
like,
It was really shocking.
yeah, and we weren't
even
on the air.
What's
Yeah,
that
no, we weren't.
noise?
Yeah, that's called an old-time phone ring.
People
You
use
can
phones
also
to
chat
call
with
still?
us online through Intern Pursuit's Facebook live chat.
All right, coming up this episode, video production industry, Susan's interesting Who Knew career background, hashtag What I Learned stories, great leaders that inspire us, employers for change promotion, and motivational Monday topic.
So how can people find us? If you go to Pivot Business Consulting, at the bottom of the page, pivotbusinessconsulting.com, you will find all of the social links. You can find us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We share the show on that Facebook page there too. You can find internpursuit.com, and you can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram and YouTube. The Intern Pursuit game is on Facebook and Twitter, and you can find that game if you want to play it. It's on the internpursuit.com website, and it is a downloadable game for PC, not for Mac. And then you can listen to us live on mixlr.com/Valencia College Radio, and follow Valencia College and follow the Intern Whisperer. You'll hear some really great episodes. You can watch us live on Facebook, the Intern Pursuits Facebook page, and you can, again, call us on 407-582-2906 and chat with us online.
All right, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our first sponsor, Omnimodal. Omnimodal believes smart cities and public transit services are the backbone of equitable shared mobility today and into the future. Omnimodal works with smart cities to connect all communities across modes of transportation to the mobility as service marketplace. You can visit them at their website at omnimodal.io, and I will spell that for you guys. That's OMNIMODAL. Thank you, Omnimodal, for sponsoring the Intern Whisper Live.
I don't know. I'm trying to turn this around. Okay, so tonight's guest, I'm trying to do live Facebook on my own personal Facebook, and I'm going, I don't know, rotate your phone. I don't know, forget it. I'll go ahead and stop because it's too distracting right now, and I didn't plan for it. I was thinking I had way more time.
Well, people are about to see you, too.
Yeah. It's no, don't, because I'm going, I don't want them to look at me. I want to be able to share the room and me and everybody in the room, though. Tonight's guest is Susan Sadler. She was a previous intern, and she is now a video producer with Pivot Business Consulting. She is working with our Intern Pursuit team to create the first training video that's going into the module, and she's done a lot of cool things for Intern Pursuit, and she is a student here at Valencia College. So welcome, Susan.
Well, thank you for having me.
We are so excited that you're here. And I want to tell also Abby and also Matt, thank you for getting this all organized and making it all so that we're on live. And so we have all of our hashtags up there so people know how to follow us, and hopefully we'll get more listeners. All right, so take it away, Matt. Abby, you guys can lead off on the show today.
Rock, paper, scissors. No, I'll just start.
All right.
So, what is your major at Valencia College?
Digital media and video production.
Why did you choose that degree?
I love every part of production, from pre to post, from performing to editing, and I'm getting to learn more about that side of it now. Mostly, I love putting the puzzle pieces together of any creative vision that someone comes up with.
You know, when I'm going to take us down memory lane for just a minute. So,
Okay.
Susan, when we were first meeting, how did you get connected with me? Do you remember?
It was just through the internship program here at Valencia.
Was it referred? Were you referred by one of the career counselors, or did you look for it online on the website?
A little of both. I had spotted you and applied to you, and I think through Rob McCaffrey was my.
I love Rob.
Was my.
He's a
facilitator.
professor here. Yeah.
Yes. And so I believe I found you and applied to you, and then you answered back, and we met and put it on a trial basis, and within an hour we kind of hit it off, and off we go.
Yep. And she has real high attention to detail. I really love that. She came in and she was just somebody that I knew would be able to take anything that I had and make sure it looked spectacular. And one of the added benefits is she has her own sound studio in her home.
That's
So
pretty
she'll
cool.
talk about that, a little
not
bit
everyone
later.
comes with that.
It's a bonus.
Yeah. So we did a lot of voiceover work there. So this has been a lot of fun to be able to work with Susan. But she also has other great news that she'll share further on. But I did want to be able to give a little shout out to Valencia and also to the professors, and in the case of career services, those great people who send students over to work with me. And I'm so thankful for that.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you, Career Services.
Yes. Okay,
everyone.
so what do you like best about learning and the digital media? Why did you choose that? Because your background is a little bit different.
Well, I started as a performer, and then but
Why don't you tell our listeners a performer and what, though?
I was a stunt woman for over 20 years, a punching bag. To be a professional punching bag is it's fun when you're younger, but it definitely takes its toll over time. But I specialized in fights and falls, so if you wanted it to look ugly, I could make it look ugly. I could take a hit, I could deliver a hit, and I've fallen down more stairs than I care to count.
Are those hits real? I mean, do people really get hurt, or do you learn how to make it?
You learn how to sell it to make it look real, but occasionally things do happen, and you might make occasional contact. Sometimes you do need some contact, depending on the camera angle, to actually get the proper sell. But it's being able to deliver it with the proper amount of force and take it. It's up to both parties. It's taking and giving that sells any information,
The
whether
authenticity
it's,
of it.
whether it's within acting or stunts or business.
So, this was for movies, or was this for live shows? Because
Both. I've worked for SAG-AFTRA and TV and film, and I worked at Universal Studios Orlando doing live shows for over 20 years as well.
SAG, like the Screen Actors Guild?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So fun stuff comes out in the
interesting.
conversations.
It's on
that-
IMDb. You can look me up on IMDb.
Oh, really?
Sadler
Really?
I really
2Ds.
do.
What is the most famous movie that you did that you think is super cool?
Gosh, probably Final Destination 4. I love horror movies, and that one was fun. But my favorite one that I got to be in was a lower budget film called Altered, where I was an alien. So I was in a full prosthetic alien
wow.
costume. It was like
Were
wearing
you
a giant
green?
pad. It was kind of many colors, greenish, bluish, and they slathered me in goos. And then when I was trying to hit the other guys, I would slide right off of them because I had so much slime all over me.
Yeah, I've heard the makeup process
Oh,
can be
this looks
quite
scary.
tedious.
Oh, it was fantastic.
How many
Oh my
hours did you
gosh, I'm
spend?
looking it up right now.
Looking at
Altered.
Altered.
And just the movie cover itself looks terrifying.
Just getting into the prosthetic, they're like, once you're in, don't pee because you can't
Oh,
get
wow.
back out.
Oh
You're
my
in it for a
gosh.
while.
And how many hours did it take to apply that prosthetic?
Oh gosh, a little under 2. I think it wasn't too bad.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
I've heard,
Was it just
Yeah, I've
visible
heard-
parts of
like
you, or
It
5
was
hours.
head to toe. Like the head was already made as a separate piece, and then the body was pretty much like a wetsuit that was 2 sizes too small. Which it's already hard to get into a wetsuit, but it was it was built up with muscles. So I'm walking around in this muscled up padded costume that I can't hardly move in, but it was so much fun.
is your name in the credits? Can we find it? I'm looking right now. You guys should pull it up, Altered, and see full cast.
See full cast,
People
yeah, because
heard
I
that
think
movie.
there's a
Sounds
couple of
very
altered
familiar.
movies
People
that
can
looks
tune
like
in live to
mine.
watch us Google.
Oh my gosh, it looks like Alien, honestly.
Yeah, I saw
me,
double the
it's-
Aliens, so I
yeah.
should be in there.
Yeah, it's
But
terrifying.
I believe there's a couple of altered movies out on the market. Mine was done here in Orlando as a local movie.
Well, they have all of these assistant directors, sound. Wow, look at all the people, sound, special effects, visual effects. Stunts. Here we go. There her name is.
There
You found it?
Stunt
Yeah.
double,
IMDb?
alien creature. Yes, she's under stunts.
Stunts, yeah. Jennifer Badger was my stunt coordinator, and she's amazing. And John
She's
Copeland was the
forever
guy I got to tackle.
famous. I
Well, I
I'm
worked
not-
with a lot of famous people. I feel like I didn't reach the grandeur that I'd hoped for, but I at least got to taste a piece of the pie, and I'm very grateful for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it does. It looks terrifying. 15 years ago, a
Yeah,
group
there you
of
are.
men's lives were forever
Oh, look at that.
changed by a strange
There you are.
occurrence. Now the same group of men will spend a night together in terror.
You were in Rock of Ages too.
Yes.
Were
yes.
you
Rock of
really?
Ages?
Oh yeah, they did her hair in 80s fashion. It was standing straight up. I forgot what it was like to be in the 80s with that hair. But
Did you get to meet Tom Cruise?
yeah, he was in the scene that we were hired basically to be the liaison, but we were in the crowd scene. So we were right next to Russell Brand, and Tom Cruise came through our part of the crowd. So we had to keep the extras away from the stars is basically what my part of the stunt team was doing. Make sure there was no mob when there wasn't supposed to be.
That is fascinating.
Okay, so we may be on Film Talk for a little while. I can already tell.
Yeah.
But I know we have these other questions. So we were talking about what it was like to be a stunt woman, and we just naturally slid right into that next
Yeah, that was our
question.
next question.
Yeah,
Right.
what was your favorite part,
Yeah.
though?
What is your favorite part of
Well,
being a stunt
fights and
woman?
falls were
and
always
falls.
my favorite. They're just the
Why?
choreography of putting a fight together is creative in its own. And my mentor, Jeff Moldovan, may he rest in peace, taught me so much. And we even not only got to do stunts together, but we taught self-defense in close quarter combat situations and weapons disarming together for many years in a system that he invented called Fighting Chance Combat Systems. And he's passed on, but one of our other instructors still teaches it. And it's basically reality-based situations. So we would attack you in your home, in your car.
Right.
First, we teach you how to defend yourself, and then we would attack you in your home and in your car, and in any situation you could think of, and teach you how to walk away and leave the bad guy on the ground.
And what was the name of this gentleman?
Jeff Moldovan.
Ah, wow.
Did you ever work with swords or anything? Because I had a friend who said he was taught like in a martial arts class. The person who choreographed the lightsaber fights in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, I mean,
He was like taught
whether
by
you're
that guy how to work with swords, and I was like, okay. What
you
was
go
he
through
doing
many
in
training
Florida?
classes, whether it's in stunt work or in combat situations for self-defense classes. Many martial arts classes will give you the weapon, the training weapon, I should say. They're usually rubber or wood, so that you can still have some contact without actually hurting each other too badly. But it
Right.
still hurts to get hit with a rubber
Oh, I
weapon
bet,
or
I
a
bet.
stick. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah,
if you
they're
wanna
not
make it
made
look
out of
convincing.
foam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and especially when you're teaching someone how to defend themselves in a real life scenario, they get amped up. And sometimes the student doesn't necessarily pull a hit as a professional would. So we've come out with black eyes and bloody noses and sprained wrists.
Wow.
It takes its toll, but it's worth it when you can help someone feel confident again that's been through a traumatic situation that otherwise would freeze up.
Right.
So that was a very rewarding part of my life that I'm grateful
Yeah, it's
for.
a benefit to that I wouldn't have thought of.
Okay, so I did not think to ask you if you knew martial arts and interviews. I may add that now.
I did study Kung Fu at the Walam Temple here right down the corner for over 8 years with Mimi Sifu Mimi Chan, and
Does that mean you have a belt also?
it's a northern Kung Fu,
So it's not colored?
it's not a belt system. So it goes by levels. The instructors wear a black sash, and the instructors wore a yellow sash, and the students wore a black sash. But we didn't. You would advance through testing, but we didn't have a belt system.
Yeah, the testing is still, yeah.
Is
Yes.
the belt system an Americanized thing?
It's
Because
more
I
of
did.
I think a karate or a taekwondo thing.
Because
I
I
think
took
it's
karate as a
taekwondo.
kid and I went up through black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not in Kung Fu.
No. Okay.
Very interesting. Okay. So, all right. So where are we? Because we covered a lot of things
We
about
did.
the films, but
But you weren't just a stunt woman in
No.
your other job,
Voicing.
voicing.
Voicing
Right.
is the greatest because I've always had all these wacky, crazy voices, zany voices in my head. So I started my own voice studio called zanyvoices.com. And I've got several demos of all the wackadoodle sounds that come out of me. And I've been told it's the crazy faces that go with the voices that kind of make people laugh more or freak them out a little more, however you want to go with that. But each voice has its own personality, and they come out at the weirdest times in conversation or in real life.
Could
or
you do one now, or would
Yeah, I
that
was
be
about
too
to ask
hard?
that.
Our story begins in a small town.
Yes, sir. My name is Tanner.
On a dark and stormy night, a child is born.
I was born of a Texas twister.
Born of a force so powerful.
They sometimes call him the finger of God. Rip right through your tail and through your trailer and turn it into splinters.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
One of my demos on my site has the full effect of that. I produced it to the sounds of the score of 2001. So if you can imagine the sort of that's the music that's behind the demo.
Most
Yeah.
epic soundtrack ever composed.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to do. I actually did each character separately and then chopped them into pieces and put them together.
Okay, not chopping the characters into pieces.
No.
The voice
Their
segments,
editing
right?
the voice segments together and then put them to a score, and then I created this own demo. It's the game trailer. That's the one that's on my site, but it was so much fun to do. I try to write most of my own copy. Copies to
So
script.
you have a vivid imagination. So she writes the stories, and then she has all of the voice talent, and then she can actually record it, and she understands all of that.
Yep.
And create videos.
I do audiobooks too. I prefer character work. I'm not a fan of my own normal voice. So when I have to narrate and be myself, it's not as much fun as when I actually get to become a character, because
Right.
I do try to let each voice match the character. And whether if it's a voice or a character I've created is one thing, but in an audiobook, I'm creating what someone else has envisioned and written. So
Right.
So that sounds like children's books would be a good match for voices.
yes, I'm a little more adult rated though. I do erotica
I did
and
look
horror.
I saw your website when I researched for this.
Be careful. There's some explicit stuff on there.
Right.
Gotcha.
She has not done children's books.
Not
Yeah.
yet, not yet.
No,
I've done some
but-
cartoons and video games, but yeah.
Yeah, but the cartoons and videos, because the voices that you were just doing, I was thinking, oh, that would be something that I could see coming out of
Yes.
a children's movie
Totally.
or something that's oriented towards children. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm probably more the twisted style of child, more like South Park.
Yeah,
and,
South
Park,
Trip
yeah.
Tank, and all those
Definitely
fun
not
shows.
for kids.
yeah, that's not kids though. That's adult.
I was twisted as a child. That's kind of how it turned out this way.
Got it.
But that is
got it.
interesting. I didn't know that you actually had to act when you're narrating a book. So in a way, it's sort of like voice
Yeah,
acting
that's
in a
like
way.
I think it's each narrator's personal choice. Not
Okay.
everyone does it the way I do it. I become a little more extreme, and I've gotten good notes back from people that buy them. They're on Audible, and then I've gotten my publisher loves it, but you can't please everyone. You know,
Right.
some
Well,
people
right.
want
I
a
always-
more
though-
standard style of
yeah.
book, and then I kind of take it to far left field.
I think that voice requires way more acting ability than even probably the visual, because
It's supposed to be completely different.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with physical acting, like even
You can
stage
rely
and
on
screen
sight.
acting, it's too different. It's completely different. Because like
Right.
with film acting, it's like you're all in your eyes. What you're doing.
exactly.
Right.
And on
But-
stage, it's your voice, just projecting it as far back as you can and making your movements as grand as possible.
With a microphone, you can be as quiet and personal, or as boisterous and loud as you need to be.
Yeah.
You just got to
Right.
know your distance on and off the mic, and try not to hit it when you're flailing around, because you
Has
can't
anybody-
be still.
Ever seen Prairie Home Companion? You know this one?
My
No.
dad used to listen
No.
to it.
I would go to the library and check them out because my dad would tell me about this, and I went Prairie Home Companion. What is that? It's actually like radio shows.
Yeah, from Garrison Keillor.
Yeah.
He was on NPR. For
Yes.
Decades and
Yeah,
decades and
and so I
decades.
would check them out and I would listen to them. I really loved listening to all of the episodes, and it was it was so visual in my head. And I think that's really where like MTV went to also, because they would take the videos, the songs that artists would sing, and then they turned them into videos, and then it was no longer my movie that was going through my head of the song. It became somebody else's interpretation. So I think that's really where the side of anything that's like a voiceover or reading, the inflection that you put into it, because I like to read stories out loud to like Sunday school kids is where I read, or when I was teaching for public high school and middle school, I would read books in the last 5 minutes just to keep my class quiet. And it was amazing to me that if you are a really good reader, the people will just sit and they will just like really pay attention, and there was like a pin could drop. And I learned the variation just exactly like what you're saying, because it makes the biggest difference. It makes somebody feel like, oh my gosh. If you read in monotone though, because I know I think you may have had a question earlier.
I haven't had much experience with audiobooks, but the ones that I have listened to are just mostly the author of the book narrating the entire thing. So I didn't know there was this whole thing where people would act out the book, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
That's a first for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I found it fascinating when you mentioned that. I was like, wait, really? Is there a way that you can listen to books with like a little bit of drama?
Yeah.
Now,
to
you
them?
know,
Oh, yeah.
my favorite movie is The Princess Bride. We've talked about this before. Now, I had my students read that book, The Princess Bride, and I don't know how it goes, but all of the even chapters were, say, The Princess Bride, and all of the odd chapters were the history of Florin. The history of Florin, dry as can be. It was truly there was no way to make that interesting. It was like, it was just so boring.
Is Florin like the land they're from?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it?
And
I've
then,
seen the movie once in high school a long time ago.
And that movie was almost exactly word for word that book. Almost. There was just two things that were slightly different, and I would never tell anybody because you have to read the book if you want to know. But I would read that story out loud to the students, and then they would get into the whole character too, and we would begin as a class to morph into the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was more
fun.
engaging that way too.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the kids.
That was always fun in school when they had you do that and people would get into characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially when they would have you read like plays.
Yeah, that was always pretty fun.
Yeah.
We did that with Julius Caesar. So that's like the closest I can
too.
get to. Yeah, I think everybody has to read Julius Caesar in
Yeah.
10th grade. Did you?
I'd much rather read The Princess Bride.
Julius
So
Caesar
much
in
more
10th
fun.
grade?
No.
Oh,
Maybe
it's
it's an
required
American
reading
thing.
here in Seminole and Orange County.
Yeah.
No, I didn't read it.
I
Yeah.
definitely did.
In 10th grade, yeah. Maybe not in Puerto Rico. But
No.
anyway, what did you just say about Princess Bride
I
then?
said I'd much rather read Princess Bride than Julius Caesar. It's
I had to
more
get
entertaining.
permission. I had to get permission to bring the Princess Bride into the school because we didn't have a budget to buy the books. And so I was asking the students to buy it, and we couldn't actually go and ask public school. You don't ask people to go and buy it because if they don't have the means to purchase the book, then they would be penalized. And so for anybody who bought two versions or two paperbacks, they had one for themselves and one to donate, they got extra credit points. So I always had plenty of books.
I think it's one of the most quotable movies of all times. There's so many great quotes that come out of that movie.
My
I've
name
never
is
seen it,
Inigo
but-
Montoya. Prepare to die. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I mean, I
He
know
still
all
hasn't
about
seen
it,
it.
but I haven't seen it
mostly
yet.
dead all day.
Yeah, I think you really have to go watch the movie now.
Oh, yeah,
I think the
there's a
impact
bunch of
is
movies.
diminished because we didn't watch it as kids.
No,
Right.
it's still great.
I mean,
I
how
watch
old
it
is
that
now.
movie?
I've
I
seen
mean,
it
it's
100
classic.
times, and I'll still watch it again.
Because my drama teacher grew up watching it in the 80s, so she showed it to us when we were in high school, and I hadn't seen it until I was in high school. I was like, this is good.
Humperdinck!
Yeah,
To blame. I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep quoting it until you give me something.
okay. Well, it was a great movie, but nonetheless, I really encourage you guys to see. But you have seen it all, Matt, right?
Yes.
And you liked it.
I did like it.
You did find it kind of like a timeless classic. Is that how you see it? I'm kind of curious.
I see it very much as an 80s movie. Especially with the framing device of the grandpa and the son.
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't give it all away. He's going to have to
Yeah,
go and watch it.
spoilers, guys.
Yeah.
You have to find out what an ROUS is.
Yeah.
ROUS. Is
ROUS.
that like a rosebud thing with the movie?
It's very iconic. You'll know when you get there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Well,
even
I
if
guess
you
you've seen
Google it.
Citizen Kane.
Of course, I've seen Citizen Kane.
Yeah. Like I've seen Citizen Kane. I have seen that. And 12 Angry Men and those
Yeah.
movies.
I haven't
yeah.
seen that one yet, but I really want to.
I had
That's
a
a really
teacher
good
who
movie.
showed both of those in the same class.
Those are great movies.
He was my favorite teacher I've ever had.
Really good. Okay.
Right.
So
We're
back
right.
on track.
I forgot
on
where
track.
we were.
Right,
Okay.
um,
So What did you do in your internship with Pivot and with Intern Pursuit? Because you did a lot of stuff.
Started out making teaser videos for the launch, the beta launch of the software, and those came out a little ominous because you wanted the music from the video game.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a little crazy at first, and you had to pull me back in.
Yeah.
But I think they turned out pretty well.
And people can actually look at those on Pivot Business Consulting's YouTube channel and also on the Facebook page. And I believe they're also on Intern Pursuit's Facebook page.
I believe so. Yep. And then
So.
we did your iCourse submission video,
Oh, yeah.
which turned out very well. And
Yeah.
then we created the 7 criteria for being an intern.
Mm-hmm.
And
Were
now-
all these animated or were some live action?
all animated.
All
Oh, okay.
animated.
Yeah.
And then now we are working on creating the training videos for the rest of the module.
Yeah. And so this is the first official employer training module because the 7 criteria is one that I was thinking I would use as a on the website. It's short enough. It was like less than 5 minutes, I think.
It's like at 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much
So
shorter.
I could use it in social feed, but I wanted the video that you guys are all working on as part of the employer training library, which is not going to be something that's published. It's like membership only.
Right.
So yeah, so
Gotta
she
subscribe.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
and
gotta-
we animated your
did.
logo.
They've got to
If
subscribe.
you want to see it,
Yeah. Now, what'd you say?
And we animated your Intern Pursuit logo.
Oh yeah, and that was super cute. Yeah, that was really cute. I like that a lot. I
And
think
what,
that would be the good opening card. Okay. Yes.
And what skills did you take from those internships onto your professional career?
Soft
Learn-
or hard? Because
All
you,
of it.
you actually, she did not know how to do any animation, and the reason why, just so you guys know, I was particularly difficult to work with. I think in this instance because I said I hate being on camera. I do not want to be on the camera. So all of our videos will be animated if I have any say in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
why she goes okay. So in her head she's
did
going,
you
"Oh,
teach
no."
yourself After Effects?
No, I had just finished my intro class to After Effects.
Okay,
with,
that explains a lot. 'Cause
Professor
now that I'm
McCaffrey, 'cause
learning
it was like
it,
one semester,
I
and
cannot
then she
imagine
threw me
someone
right
teaching
into it.
themselves After Effects.
But it was a difficult class to get through because I'm so visual. Like Premiere for me is easy because of the way that it edits together. It's non-linear editing, and then After Effects is layered in such a different way,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
a lot more. You can use a lot of math equations where you can get to the same spot in After Effects in 5 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
there's a
just had
million ways
the
to
way
do
that
it.
I was taught is not the way that I found out I was better at getting there. And that's what I had to discover through my own by doing those videos for you. So it is a lot of trial and error. You can take as many classes as you want. And you still have to find your own way in the end.
That's
more hands-on.
exactly what the teachers say.
Yeah.
It's more hands-on with After
is.
Effects. I've
It's
only
just keeping
only
it-
used After Effects a handful of times.
Just playing with it.
But-
But every class that I've taken here at Valencia has taught me something that has allowed me to take it into every project. And even I just started a new position with a new company.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Using none of that software, at least for what we're doing moving forward. But because I have that software background, we do still use chunks of the Adobe Cloud, but for the actual channel that we're producing, we're using something totally different. So now
Really?
I'm back to square one,
Is it
trying to
something
learn
like
something.
commonly used, or have you not heard of it before?
I had never heard of it
What is it?
before. What's it called? Marsis?
How do you spell it?
Marsis. It's a Turkish program.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's
Googling.
on the lower
Or Google.
end. It's supposed to be pretty basic, and yet it's been finding it difficult to put it together because it's not responding as most of the Adobe makes everything so user friendly and so easy.
It sure
And you
does.
get used to learning that way, and then you get thrown into a fishbowl where you're fighting for food and you don't know what you want.
So you had to learn After Effects. What is it that you? What other skills? Maybe 2 other that you might feel would be an advantage moving forward.
Storyboarding, definitely storyboarding is huge. Even breaking down a script, know how to read your script, to break it down, to
Yes.
visualize it. It helps to make your notes in the script by hand, and as you're talking it out, then you start drawing it out on the storyboards, and to have those makes your editing life so much easier because it becomes your blueprint for what you're going to do.
Correct.
That's interesting because Abby and I were going over his storyboards that he had done for the videos, and I don't think he knew this, that there were the actual audio files, and we were using those audio files to match up each one of the animated sections. And he's going, okay, well, I'm going back to the drawing board. He's going to redraw. And
Right.
we talked about
Try
how
to time it perfectly as best as I can. I just thought that the audio
The
segments
timing is going to change as we
Okay.
put it together. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
what you're drawing in the storyboard is a guideline, and it'll give us a basic idea of timing, but we won't really
Right.
know until we actually animate it and then slide the audio track in.
Correct. See, what I
and
thought
once
it-
we see
yeah.
the two together, then we can start either adding filler space or taking some out.
Right. See, what I thought was that we're gonna make the videos first and then do the audio over the.
We've already
videos.
got the voiceover.
Yeah,
Right. No,
Yep, they're
yeah,
in the
yeah.
drive.
Yeah, I know. I listened to them,
Did you
but I
find them?
thought,
Okay.
yeah, I thought those were just so you can listen to them and do the storyboards. I completely
Oh, gotcha.
misguided.
No, those will be
Yeah.
the background to the
Right.
visuals.
See, now that I know
Absolutely.
that, I wanted to take another
Okay.
go at some of them. At least.
yeah.
Thank you.
And he also had some time with me. So we were talking about how I envisioned it laying out. And we looked at some other storyboards, one that Khalil had done. And then I don't think we had Matt's with us. But we talked about how the figures, any of the actual figures of people, that there would need to be consistency in there, whether they're just going to be the outline of a figure or a more detailed actual picture of a person. So this is something that, like you said, it's a valuable skill to learn is storyboarding. This is what they're actually learning right now.
Gotcha.
Right.
And there's, not everyone can draw, and it's keeping it
I'm a stick
simple
person.
is better. And stick figures are fine as long as, like you said, you just stay consistent. They're there to give the basic idea of
Right.
this person is facing this way, either facing camera or moving away from camera, and you just use arrows to indicate that, and then
Right.
jot your little notes.
I use the KISS system. Keep it simple, stupid.
That
Yeah.
Isabella
Yeah.
is big on that system as well.
Yes, yeah. Keep it simple. I don't
Usually
add the stupid part.
Oh
No.
well, I just learned that in a film class that I took. The professor was like, just kiss everything. Keep it simple,
Yeah,
stupid.
simple is usually the better way to go. I tend to do everything the hard way and then have to circle back and do it again.
Yeah, I like easy. I like it to be, like I usually say 5th grade simple or 5-year-old
Yeah, I've
simple.
heard you say that.
Because
Pretend like
if a
they're
5-year-old
5-year-olds.
can understand it, then anybody
You
can
should.
understand.
You should be able to understand it.
Yeah.
Unless you're a 4th grader.
Yeah. Advanced 4th grader. Yeah. So is there anything else that you think is a valuable skill? Because you've got these guys, you're actually the lead and you're the one that is guiding them through this process. You are the video producer here.
They're a great team. I mean, I'm impressed every week when I come in and I see what they've accomplished throughout the week. So, congrats and kudos to you guys. And
Yeah, and
Thank
Khalil's
you.
not here, but Khalil is a part of that one too.
it's easy to guide people that are pretty much already on the right path. You just got to nudge them a little bit here and there, and it makes the meetings a lot shorter because
Yeah.
they already know what they're doing. But we've got a great blueprint going so far. And I think when we start the actual animation, it's going to come together nicely.
Yeah, and they've got to work with the graphics team. So that was something I think that you also learned the value of is the ability to work with other people in other departments to be able to produce an end product because you had to work with graphic designers also
Yes, that is
to
true.
produce the videos.
Yes, that does help. I mean, we all study, if you're studying digital media, you kind of get a little bit of all of those, but some people are better with just graphic design and other people would rather just go sit and edit. And it is easier when you just make a phone call and say, hey, get me these images and send them to me in the proper files, and they ship them over, and then you just throw them right into your timeline, and it makes everything more efficient.
Right.
So the value of communicating, I cannot stress that enough. I really cannot.
Communicate.
Yeah, it is better to over communicate than to not communicate because otherwise people are going, I don't know what's going on, and they feel disconnected.
Yeah.
They feel lost. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. And team dynamics is huge also, and then leadership.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to do something, the value of a great leader is know how to find someone who does know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is a learning mentality
Yeah.
too, because you're not looking, okay, I need somebody I can't do this because I don't have anybody to tell me what to do. Or you can take it and go, well, I can Google, I can look, I can reach out to the other people in the company.
Take some
I need
initiative.
yeah.
Yeah.
Initiative. Exactly. Exactly. So, why do you want to change your career path though now?
Well, I mean, I'm getting older, and
Falling from 10
Stairs.
stories is not as much fun.
yes, age and injuries tend to slow you down a little
Did you
bit.
break anything?
Oh, I've broken several things. Usually more in recreational times than in stunts.
Yeah, because in stunts they at least have tons of like pillows and things for you to fall
you're
on.
padded up, you're prepared. I've been hurt in stunts too. Sometimes it's just avoidable. There's no good way to do a stair fall without getting some sort of injury. Yeah, I ended up at the
Ouch.
bottom of a 4-person stair fall, and I was supposed to be the one on top. Didn't work out so well.
Were you ever in a fire? Like, did you get like
No, I didn't do any body burns, but several of my friends have.
That is scary.
that? Would be
Yeah.
scary.
You know what? I'll jump off any height you want me to. Do not light me on fire first. I respect the fire, and I don't want it on me.
Yeah, don't play with fire.
That's a good
But,
attitude to have.
Yeah, and the people that do it are amazing,
Yeah.
and I've seen some fantastic fire burns.
How about underwater stuff?
I've done some. I'm scuba certified. It wasn't one of my specialties, so I'm
But you're still certified. Just
certifiable.
Or have they ever thrown you out of things, like out of a plane or?
Yeah,
Catapult.
I got my
got
SAG
thrown out
card
of a
actually
plane?
getting
What?
thrown out of a boat. That was I had to do a pratfall. Lots of pratfalls. I love
What is a
pratfalls.
pratfall? I don't
It's
know. What that
a silly fall.
is. Okay,
You know, like
like
What
in
a-
comedy shows,
like the
like
guy
it's
from
all
the
comedy.
Titanic.
right,
that's
yeah,
falling.
Dick Van Dyke
yeah,
falling down the
yeah,
stairs.
Absolutely, yeah. The sillier, the better.
know.
Make it look wild
Comedy.
and crazy and flailing. What was the question?
Yeah, I had asked if you had ever been thrown out of a plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I jumped out of a plane voluntarily. That was
Oh, goals.
fantastic.
I really
yeah.
want to do that. That's on
Skydiving
my
I
bucket
never
list.
once in
wanna
my
do
life.
that.
I want to
What?
do it again.
I don't like heights, so
scariest
jumping out of a
part-
plane just seems not up my alley.
That's not the scary part. It's taking off in those tiny little planes that are so jumpy and they want to crash before you get to jump out of it. That's
that
what I
does
was worried
sound
about.
terrible.
But I got
So
to jump
that-
out of my
I think
own.
I think that's on purpose. That it encourages you to
Yeah,
jump.
yeah.
Don't stay on the plane. Just
Oh,
jump, and you'll be safe.
the adrenaline to come out of that plane, you don't lose your stomach like you think you would. You're just immediately flying. And I just always wanted to fly. So I got to fly for, a 60-second free fall and then a 2-minute canopy ride down. I was tandem with an instructor, but had a great instructor. And we just stepped right onto the ground and started walking.
Wow.
And I was high on life for about, weeks after that.
That is on my bucket list.
And then at one of the live shows at Universal, I did a 24-foot high dive out of a crow's nest into water. We had a fire burn guide that was a few feet away from me. I would go out of the nest first and do a flailing headfirst dive.
Is that
and
like
then
a Pirates of the
he-
Caribbean
yeah,
or
it's kind
something?
of a pirate show. And then he was doubling the witch, and they would light him on fire, and he would flail around and go in the water after.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. All I can
Kid
say is
friendly.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had when I was Red Riding Hood, I had the big bad wolf pick me up and throw me through a fence, but I landed on clay and pretty much got a concussion because there was just no good way around
my
that one.
Whoa.
What a big
Clay.
bad
Well, it
wolf
was
that
such hard ground. It was up in Tallahassee, and it was like getting cold, So it was. There's no way to pad the ground where we were because sometimes you can hide a pad, sometimes you can't.
You put pine needles over it. Pine needles. You have a big cushion
I have a bunch
underneath
of
the
needles
pine
sticking
needles.
out of me.
Yeah, but pine needles, a bed of pine needles. Yeah. Something
It
like
all depends
that.
on the shot. If it's not in the shot, sometimes you can't have it in the shot.
There's a ton of pine needles in Tallahassee. I know there are. I live there. tons. Yeah, tons of
Really
pine.
are.
Yeah.
I've been thrown through things, off of things, into
Oh my
things.
gosh. Well, I definitely see why she would be moving into a
Yeah.
different career path.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
I didn't have an education when I was younger, so now that I'm, older and not so much wiser, I'm trying to get that education.
Definitely
and,
wiser. Come on now.
Most
Definitely
definitely.
Well, how
wiser.
is that education helping you in your career now?
Oh, it's helping. I mean, I'm getting to still be a part of production that I love, still put the picture together, every part of the vision, and it's just being on. It's still creative in the other ways that I never touched on before, but found out that I absolutely love editing. When I was younger, if you asked me to edit, I would think that sounded like the most boring thing ever. And now it's one of my favorites. I love it.
editing.
So I'm very fortunate that I came here to Valencia. They're a great school,
It
great
is.
teachers, and the skills go right into the workforce. I was able to utilize them with Pivot and Intern Pursuit, and now with my new company. So.
And also in the current business that you're in too, I would say.
And it also, I found
Like
my
your
love
own
of
business.
Yes, I found my love of editing through my voice business. When I started editing my own audio, that's kind of how the love blossomed from there, and I knew I needed more.
So innovation. We always talk about innovation in an industry, but to be clear, you're no longer at Universal, right?
No longer.
Okay. So innovation in the industry. I'm sure that Universal has a really big budget, and they would be able to have, I would think, state-of-the-art equipment down there.
You would think so.
Yeah.
No, they've got pretty good equipment. Depends on what department you're in.
I'm sure, and it depends on what the movie is or what the whatever
Yes.
the
Yes.
whatever it is that's at
Different
Universal.
departments
It's
get
been so
different
long
budgets,
since I've
but
been
yeah.
there. Yeah, the ride, whatever the ride is. But what innovation have you seen that has changed from when you started doing voiceover or voice, reading? And then also, what do you think has changed in even just in stunts? I think our listeners would be
Well,
interested in
A
that.
lot of stunt people are out of work due to CGI.
What is CGI?
It's a computer
computer
generated.
generated imagery.
Oh, where they
Yeah.
make it look like a real person.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
That's
and-
sad.
Yeah, and it is sad because it's really now you've gone from giving a live person a job to. I mean, there's still many people that make up that CGI, but they're sitting behind a computer. And when you look at it on screen, as great as it's evolved, it still looks cartoony to me.
Yeah,
You
most
can tell that
definitely
it's
does.
not real.
Well, that's why they still do have
and-
some
and
and it
people,
takes
like-
it takes all the danger out of it, but it also I'm on both sides of the fence because it takes a lot of the injury out too. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that have been
Right.
messed up for life because of the stunts that they did. But when you see a fantastic stunt that you know is real, I mean, the adrenaline from that is completely different than watching a cartoon dancing around the
Right,
screen
and
than a
it
computer
just makes you
generated.
appreciate these group of people that
Yeah.
just go all out and perform these stunts. I can tell when I'm seeing a CGI
Absolutely.
stunt and a practical stunt,
Yeah.
and I have more appreciation for the practical part of
Absolutely,
any,
especially the
filmmaking in
ones where you're
general.
like, how did that person even live through that?
That's
You
why I
know
love
that
all those
hurt.
old James Bond movies when he's leaping out of a plane onto a
Right.
mountain, or
Yes,
Many actors
And
the one
there's
where he
certain-
jumps off a
stunts, too.
dam.
Then there's things you can do with green screen that are amazing that are still using those live people.
Right.
Yeah.
But and you can splice it all together. But there's sometimes when you're like, there's
not the
no way a
same.
person could live and do that stunt, so they have to do it with a computer.
There's a place, I had a client and I wrote a business plan for them, and they're called the Extreme Place, and they're on International Drive. And I'm looking them up really. Yep, here we go. They're on Visitor's Circle. So that was like the logo that we designed for them. And people can go out there. I wrote this business plan, and you can do stunts. And it is where stunt people can go and practice. But we, if you go and look at them on Facebook, you'll see them. But I climbed up onto the trapeze, and we did trapeze swings. And then we got to fall into the big nets and all of the things. And it was a lot of fun.
It is great.
Super
One of
lot
my
of
first
fun.
trainers was a circus lady, and I lived on her compound out in Claremont. And she had a trapeze set up in her backyard, and we would train every Saturday. Deanna
Yeah.
Johnson, give her another shout out. She was Gozer in the original Ghostbusters, as well as a list I
Gozer.
couldn't even tell
Wow.
you
Really?
how long her list of films is.
Yeah. Now it says 2015 was like the last videos in here, but I would definitely tell people that if you want to experience what it's like to do some stunts, very safe place. You can go in there. They harness you
Yep,
up.
you're in a full harness. You're being
you
belayed,
can't get
you got
hurt.
A trainer.
Yeah. And then they swing out, and you're swinging on the trapeze, and you get to grab the other person, and then they go, "Okay, I'm going to let you down, so get ready." And you get ready, and it's very, very easy. I would
Yes.
say easy
Yeah,
is
they
the
don't
best
let
way
you get
to
hurt. Even though
describe
there's
it.
there's
I
a
wasn't
proper way to
terrified.
land into the net, and there's a not so proper way to land.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so then the other thing that this is totally off topic though, but the other thing that I think is pretty fun is like zip lining. I think it's
Yeah,
as
it's
close. I don't want to jump out of the plane. I used to think I wanted to, no more. But zip lining, because I still take that step off of the board and it's like, whoosh, and you're just trusting that you're not going to fall. You know, I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I just with zip
I'm
lining in my.
terrified the parachute won't open. That's what I'm terrified about.
That's why you have a backup chute.
Yeah, but what if neither one? Like
That
what
it's
if,
meant to be. Just,
Yeah.
just stay loose.
Say my
Tuck
prayer.
and roll when you bounce and stay loose.
Yeah, I don't know. Not if it's like, how high up in the air do you go to?
We jumped at 1,400 feet.
Okay,
think.
I don't think
No,
you stay
sorry, I
alive
apologize.
after that.
No,
1400,
no.
I did the
14,000, I don't
300
remember.
foot drop
Gosh, that was a
near
long
Old
time ago.
Town. Yeah, I did a 300 foot drop in
No.
Old Town. They dragged you up in a small cable.
I
and,
think my numbers are off. It was
then-
too long ago. I don't know.
Yeah, that was high, but
Because it was for a 60-second free fall and 2-minute canopy ride. We had to be pretty high.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
anyway, nonetheless.
I've been hitting the head too
You
many
got that
times.
adrenaline rush though.
So CGI, or did I?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one innovation.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think is an innovation that you've seen that has actually changed what you're doing?
Yeah, and actually, that's kind of what I am doing now, getting into the digital streaming of watching television on the web now. A lot of people are trying to get away from cable, and they're using Roku's and their PS4s and their Amazon and Vudu accounts. There's all these web-based
Wow.
streaming platforms that are taking over. So you can create your own channel now and just put it on one of these platforms, and that's what the company I'm working for is trying to develop their own.
Yeah, everybody's into creating content.
Yeah.
We have like 1 minute, so you can tell us about your most inspiring leaders. We're going to be jumping over to our sponsor spotlight, and
Okay.
then we're going to we got to move fast because I went, oh my gosh, it's a quarter till. So, who are your most inspiring leaders? You have like 1 minute.
In stunts, it would be Zoe Bell and
Ooh,
my mentor Jeff
amazing.
Moldovan and Gaynor Johnson. And then in acting, I would have to say Tom Hanks is one of my all-time favorites. Sally Field, I got to give
Oh
Sally
my
Field a
God.
shout out.
Did you see that he's going to be playing Mr. Rogers?
Oh no, he can do anything. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
He's going to be a
This
great
point,
Mr.
yeah.
Oh,
Rogers.
he will be. He's perfect.
I'll
for
say
it.
Tarantino as a director and J.J. Abrams as a producer.
Well, how
Great.
about in your personal life? Just not professional.
But personal would be Jeff Moldovan and Gaynor Johnson and my beautiful wife Robin Graham.
Okay. Commercial. So we need to have some music play real quick and then transition into our next not commercial, our sponsor. Oh, I was never supposed to say that word.
You didn't.
I didn't.
It didn't happen. All right, we'd like to take the time to thank Create the Movement. Creating a movement takes two things, the right people and the right message. Finding the right people takes laser focus and extensive research. Crafting the right message requires in-depth market knowledge and constant tweaking. It's not about thinking outside the box, it's about knowing what your box is made of and using it to your advantage. Thank you, CreateTheMovement.com, for sponsoring the Intern Whisperer Live.
All right. So we get to give our shout outs. But first, I'm going to be giving just a real quick spotlight on Valencia. State of the art equipment that we have here. Great atmosphere. We love Q. Thank you, Q. Always thank you, Q, for letting us be in here. He's our station manager. And we get to have our show. And we're going on month 10 of the show. So that's pretty cool. Shout outs. Abby, you go first.
All right, as always, I would like to give a quick shout out to my friends and family, and to all those stunts people out there that put their lives on the line for the spectacle of the film. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's nice. That is
As
nice.
a filmmaker, I appreciate that type of stuff. Yeah.
That is good.
All right, I'm going to give a shout out to my mom because she just texted me, how do I watch the radio show? I don't have the time to explain it to her right now, but she'll eventually see this and then hear this.
Okay, now she's
And then-
going to need to know, like 6 o'clock, Mom, follow us.
And then
Tell
I
her to
al-
go like the station or the
And then
Facebook.
I also want to give a shout out to my friend Brendan, who's moving to Utah on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, good luck, Brendan. It's
Yeah.
cold there. Yeah. Susan, who do you want to give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to the governor and request that you bring the tax incentive incentive back for the film industry so we can get some jobs back in the state
Oh.
and
maybe
give work
wait.
to everyone. So if everyone will, you can even write to your local government, actually our
Maybe
our state
whoever our
government.
next governor will be.
Filminflorida.com is a good place to go to put in some of those petitions, and let's get this industry back and going.
Oh, maybe put
Right
that
on.
in our chat area too. And then my shout out is thank you again, Matt and Abby and Susan, for being here tonight. This has been a really, it just flew right by.
It did.
It did.
Yeah,
It did.
We-
It was
I
so
went, oh
much
my
fun.
God, it's like over. So it was, you were mesmerizing. We were like so entertained. So thank you.
Well,
Great
thanks for
talking to
having
you,
me.
Susan.
And I want to say thank you to all of our followers and listeners, and then thank you to the past, the present, and the future of Intern Pursuit and Pivot. So thank you for all of those people. All right. So we are closing out the show, and thank you one more time. Exit us out, guys.